Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Vanessa and I am the owner of Fritter Crochet. It's a brand new shop. Well, the shop's not brand new, but the crochet part is brand new. I kind of rebranded the shop I already had before. I design amigurumi patterns, but I also love pretty much all things fiber arts. I love to crochet. I started it like fairly recently and I just became completely obsessed with it, went down the rabbit hole. So I started this channel because I thought we could document my journey as a new and budding designer of patterns, but also as somebody who's just trying stuff out in the crochet world, in the fiber arts world. And today's video is no exception because I'm trying something new. So I kind of mentioned in the first video I ever did on this, on my projects that I'm working on. And one of them is to make socks. So I started with crochet socks. And it was okay. I liked it. It was kind of like really hard on my hands, and I didn't like the texture that I was getting from the socks. It was a little bit too tight, not soft enough. And so from everything I heard is that knitted socks are kind of the way to go. Now, I've never knitted before, but my dad has been asking me for socks since he learned that I love crocheting. So it's been a while, and his birthday is coming up, and I really wanted to make him some socks, but I didn't want to make him socks that he would like. So I thought, hey, why not try knitting? Why not learn how to knit so I can make this man socks? But I would have to practice first a lot. And I wanted to take you along to kind of like on a little vlog of me learning how to knit. We're not going to make a full sock. This is just like me trying stuff out, learning and doing things, because I am going to suck for sure. 100%. I'm just starting out. It's not going to be good. I've got like these like hands that are not nimble by any means. And they're tiny little needles. So I went out, I got prepared, and I got like everything I need to get started. I didn't go overboard because I was not sure if I'm going to be like really good at this, if I'm going to like it, what if I hate it. So I didn't want to spend like a ton of money. But I did get a couple of things. I got ChiaoGoo, a set of ChiaoGoo circular needles. I do want to learn to crochet socks on, knit sock, crochet, knit socks on circular needles. So I got ChiaoGoo. The girl in the store recommended 2.75. We'll see how that goes. So I got those. I got a trial yarn. So I got Kroy sock yarn. And I'll kind of show you everything like in the vlog. So you can see it. Also, I'm not going to be showing things now. But I got Kroy socks to kind of practice on because it was affordable. It was right there. However, I did already crochet with this yarn and it was a little bit on the rough side, so I don't know. So I wasn't sure. So just in case, I also got sock weight yarn. And I picked up a sock weight yarn that is, oh, let me actually see. So I have the little packaging here for it. I kind of ripped off the yarn already. But I got Lana Bernstein golden socks. So this is the thing for it. I don't think I showed this. I'm kind of filming this intro after. So preface, I'm doing this intro after I filmed the vlog because I actually thought it was a good idea to try to learn knitting while being sick. So I was sick all week. I was a bit feverish. I waited till the fever broke to start knitting because I was just like kind of stuck at home. I couldn't take client calls. I couldn't do a lot of client work. I couldn't write. So I thought perfect time to knit. And why? What could go wrong, right? Like knitting with the fever and a cold. What could go wrong? A lot went wrong. So spoilers. But this is kind of the backup yarn. So I actually got this. Let's see if it will focus on this. Come on. It's not focusing. For some reason, this camera just is not, it keeps trying to focus on me. Anyway, so it's Lana Bernstein golden socks for each. That's what it's called. They said this was a good starter for like a starter yarn. And it does say that the needles you should use are between 2.5 and 3. The recommended for this. However, I have been seeing online a lot of people say that they use 2.25 depending on how you knit. I don't know what my gauge is yet. I don't know if I'm a tight knitter or a loose knitter. So we'll find all that out together this week. But that's kind of like the backup yarn. I have a lot of little other things that I have because I did get a few other little tidbits, but I'm going to share that in the outro with you guys. So stay tuned for that. But for now, I'm going to stop blabbing and like, let's get right to the vlog and let's see how I do with knitting socks. And if I epically fail, I'm also going to share with you what I'm using to kind of teach myself to do this. So stay tuned for that. All right, let's do it. So I am feeling like a minuscule amount better, but I think I'm good enough to give this a shot. You're seeing kind of my world here. This is where I spend a lot of my time. This is my little office corner nook in our bedroom. But I don't know if I ever talked about how I started to crochet and how I got into it. But I actually started because I was watching an illustrator vlog. If you don't know, I'm also like a graphic artist and a writer. That's why I have two screens, because I work off of them. But I was watching this vlog, this behind the scenes vlog of this illustrator, and she signed up for Craftsy, and I guess she was promoting because she had a code and whatever. And it was an illustrator I really, really loved, who had a great Etsy shop, and I used to love her vlogs. They were super cozy. I will actually link her in the description if you like that kind of stuff, and if you like cozy art and cozy stickers and stuff. But I was watching her vlog, and she mentioned that she was giving crocheting like a try on Craftsy, and that she was making amigurumi. And it looked so cute. And this was one of the projects that she made in the classes that she mentioned. And so I wanted to give it a whirl. And I keep this on my desk because it was the first one I ever made. And the stuffing is just terrible. And I don't know if you can, the stitching on this is atrocious. And I was using probably the wrong hook and the wrong cotton yarn. But, it means a lot because it's what got me started. And so I keep this on my desk. And so I started on Craftsy, and I figured now that I'm learning to knit, why Craftsy has so many, right? Other videos and classes, and I'm already signed, I've been signed up forever now. I'm really, really loving it. For just small things, I learned granny squares on there, a whole bunch of stuff. And so I figured, why not? So I got my needles. I'm going to go on Craftsy now. I've got my trial. So I'm using Kroy socks as kind of I'm not using the yarn that I showed you guys in the intro, my special yarn that I got for the socks. But I'm using this to kind of work with because, obviously I'm starting. So I'm going to suck. I'm not going to be good at this. I already know the size of these needles, and in comparison to the size of my hands, I have very small hands in general. So this to me feels like I'm holding a toothpick, and I'm just not nimble enough for this kind of work. I am basically an ogre when it comes to detailed work. I just, stomp, So I'm going to suck. So I figured I have these from that failed sock project. That I kind of talked about in my first video ever on this channel. If you want to watch that, it'll be linked somewhere. So I figured I'll give it a shot. And we're going to go on Craftsy. I'm going to take you kind of let you watch me figure it out. And hopefully my face doesn't say it all. Also, hopefully I don't pass out from having a cold because my nose is very stuffed, as you can see. I tried to cover it up with concealer, but I'm sure I still look like Rudolph, and that is fine because we are all sick here in this house. So I'm going to go behind the scenes. I'm going to sit over here. I'll probably get this out of the way just so I have space. And I'm going to see what I can get accomplished today before I have to I do have some client work to do. But before I have to do that, I'm going to see what I can accomplish. And then I will kind of talk to you about my experience as I go along, because I have a feeling that it's going to be comical at best. So let's try knitting.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen. I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen. I don't think so. No, 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 no. Maybe someday you'll have it your way. Maybe someday it'll all work out. Until then, nope, a nope, a nope, a nope, definitely nope, a nope, nope, a nope. Probably never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen.
Okay, so that wasn't so bad. I'll link this class actually in the description for you guys because I really like the way that she explains. The instructor's name is Jen Lucas, and it's called Chop Down Socks Using Magic Loop. So Magic Loop is what I have. Now she is using worsted weight yarn, which is not what I have, and she is using a larger, like a 4mm hook, and I have the ChiaoGoo set in the 275, because when I went to the yarn store, the ladies that work there are just the nicest people in the world. It's a local yarn store, and I was like, I want to learn to knit socks. I am a newbie, and they're like, are you like a tight knitter or a loose knitter? And I was like, I am a non-knitter, so I don't know. And so they recommended I go with a 275 because they said it's good for beginners, and it's not too large, not too big, and it kind of like helps tighten up your stitches. Now, as I was casting on, so Jen is doing the German something. Please tell me in the comments. Like I will watch this and remember I'll have to watch it again several times. But the German method of casting on and not the long tail. And I realize as I'm doing it that I might be a tight knitter because I did cast on pretty tightly, although that could be because I'm like a beginner, right? So I'm like, and also it could be because I am a little bit sweaty from just having a fever for a few days straight, and still coming off of it. And so that could be it too. So my hands are a little bit sweaty. I'm holding wool, like, so I might have been like really pulling, like I'm like, like pulling a noose in a murder mystery. Oh. Is that too dark? Is that too dark for knitting? Murder mystery humor. Sorry, it's what I write, you guys. But look at this. So let's see if I cast on. It's 32. She said to do 32. Not sure. We're just practicing. I'm practicing. This is not going to be a sock. This is just me trying to see how far I can get today, and I'll do it again tomorrow before I like show you what I've gotten done. But I did it. And to be honest, as I was going, it wasn't crappy. Like I actually like I figured it out, and it was pretty smooth. It was the same thing over and over again. And I think in this case, my tiny toddler-sized fingers are actually working to my benefit, because when you have to like kind of let go, like to twist around and let go, like twist the yarn on your thumb to get it through, to take it off your thumb, I don't have to work so hard because I have merely a thumb, right? So I don't know. I can see how I would be very addicted to this very fast. So watch out, world. Or watch out, my wallet and our storage space, because I might be getting more knitting things soon. But yeah, okay, so we're gonna keep going through it. I'm going to do, so this lesson, let's see. So this is called joining in the round and cuff. So we're working on the cuff, German twisted cast on. That's what it says. I'm reading on the front. And how to work in the round using the magic loop method. So I'm not going to get to the leg today. I think maybe we'll try the leg tomorrow. I'll see how far I get. This is a very long lesson. And obviously I'm assuming she speeds it up when she starts doing the cuff, which I won't get to because I do have a shawl that I have to finish. And I have some stuff to block. And like I said, I have some cover design work to do. I have to plot the new book that I have coming up for my publisher, and some edits for a client. So got a ton of stuff to do, but we are going to do this. So let's get back to the cuff and working in the round and see how we do this, because I have a feeling that now is like the complicated stuff starts, and I'm not going to have such an easy time with getting the stitches from here to here and doing like the purl and whatever. It's clearly I know nothing, you guys. So yeah, I'm gonna have a tough time. I have a feeling I will. But I do have my coffee. It says Bibliophile. I got this at Indigo. If you guys know of any cups that look like this, that aren't just like a print on the front, but kind of like a full wraparound with some cool colors, that are like crochet or knitting or yarn related, then please tell me, because I would love a cup. I try to theme my cups to what I'm doing, and since I'm working on a lot of books related stuff today, I'm drinking this. But I even have cups made for all my series that you can't see, but they're all lined up up on the shelf that I wrote. So when I'm writing in the series, I use the cup for that. So if you have one that you know of, please give me the link for that. I would love to get it. So less chit chat, more coffee, and let's get back to knitting. So I want to show you how far I got. It's not crazy far, but I have thoughts about myself. Actually, let me raise you up a bit. Okay, here we go. This is how far I've gotten. It's not much. It's literally just like two rows around. Probably harder to see because I'm using like darker yarn, foolishly enough, but this is just like what I have to practice on. So I did have to actually stop. So this class assumes you already know how to knit or to basic knit, which I don't. So I did have to stop and go on YouTube and see like a basic knit and a basic purl and how to alternate between the two. So that wasn't so bad. It didn't take very long. And once I kind of got the hang of it, like I understood where everything goes, it wasn't so bad. Here's where I'm getting caught up. And this is obviously me, not the course and not the instructor or anything like that. I did cast on way too tight, like ridiculously foolishly tight. So it's hard to move the stitches around on the needles. I also feel like I might switch to, and this must be absolutely wild and insane of me, but I might switch to the yarn that I got for the socks. And just get going. Maybe I'll do the ones I'm doing for myself as like a practice run before I get to my dad's, which is the gift. So I might do that because I think that this yarn is like a bit too thick and too rough for the needles that I have. And I'm just learning and I'm beginning, and I'm not going to be one of those people that like stocks up on everything before they even know if they like it or not. So I'm not going to go out and spend. I did like splurge on ChiaoGoo, which, I guess not a splurge, but I did want to have a good first experience. But I'm not going to go out and buy like a whole set of them. So this is what we're working with, and we're going to just make it work. So I think what I might do is later tonight, after I finish work and stuff and I put my daughter to bed, if I'm not feeling like I want to like drop an anvil on my head because I'm still sick, I might redo this and that whole lesson with the good sock yarn, and maybe see how much further along I can also get in that using the different yarn that's a little bit softer and a little bit thinner, more like a proper fingering weight or sock yarn weight. And I'm going to see how I do with that. The instruction is amazing, by the way. I really, really like this class. So I totally recommend it. If you already know how to, if you don't, like me, you want to make things complicated for yourself, then go for it and then just YouTube basic stitches, which is what I'm doing because I'm a basic stitch. But otherwise, like, honestly, it's not so bad. I'm getting the hang of it. You can maybe if I zoom in, you can kind of see things are happening, like we're making stitches. I really like this. It's fun. My other thing, is I still don't know like how to hold the needles, or what to do with the yarn. Like I at one point it was wrapped around my finger like 17 times like this, just like this, like for what purpose? I don't know. I was trying to pull and like things weren't happening. So I don't know how to hold the yarn. And I had this with crochet. When I first started crocheting, I had no idea like that, like I didn't establish that I could like find my way. So now when I crochet, I do this wrap around and then here. And that's kind of my comfortable tension for holding my yarn. I obviously don't have that yet with knitting. I'll figure it out. I don't have it yet. And so I end up with like wonky fingers and kind of hunched over, and looking like basically like a creature out of like a villainous Disney movie. But that's going to happen until we figure it out. In the meantime, I'm really happy with what I have and I'm making progress. And let me see what I can do tonight off camera, after I finish work and if I have some free time. And we'll take a look again tomorrow and see on to the next step. And hopefully by Friday, I will have like at least this much knitting done to show you guys, at least the cuff, like, or something, because I think the cuff is the maybe the tough part because it's alternating knit and purl. And like, this is literally what I started with, not knowing anything about knitting or what knit and purl even is. But I kind of like, I figured it out and I got it. And I think with maybe the better yarn, it might be easier to see the stitches and feel them. And now I'll know what I'm casting on to cast on much looser. So we're going to do that and we'll see how it goes. And I will see you guys for our next little lesson. Woo! But I really like it so far. So it's the next day. Thus the different shirt. I don't have cool YouTube continuity in this at all. I'm not going to wear the same shirt over and over again. I would. I'm not too good for that. Trust me. But I spilled coffee on it. It's the one I was wearing yesterday. So that's the end. And also my daughter then jumped in a puddle as she was getting out of the car. And we live in Canada where it is very snowy and gross right now. And so she splashed me with just a bunch of muck. And it was like on my face, on the shirt, on my white winter jacket. If you know, you know, toddlers, what can you do about it? So, it's been a day. Well, it's been a night and a bit. But I did keep working on the sock. So, but let me tell you what happened. So this looks, I'm sure, I don't know if you can tell, but so this, I did end up using the new yarn. The length looks the same as kind of what I showed you before. However, it's not the same amount of stitches because, I realized that the yarn I really wanted to use, that yarn I talked to you about in the intro, or will talk to you about in the intro because I'm doing the intro after this. Is a finger and weight yarn. And Jen, the instructor on Craftsy, is using DK weight yarn. And because I didn't make it all the way down the yellow brick road and my brain is still straw, I, for some reason, did not connect that I would need more than 32 stitches to go around my foot. And so last night I was sitting down and I was like making really good progress. And I was so proud of myself using this yarn. And it's like going so much better, by the way, because these needles and this yarn are like the combination that it needs to be. And I think my stitching just naturally improved. But I'm going along and I'm looking at it. I'm like, wow, this will really fit my toddler more than it would for me. What's going on there? And then I clicked in that I didn't measure the amount of stitches I cast on for my foot, but also for the yarn I was using. And so I actually ended up going online and I found like a calculator that you can kind of use based on your gauge. But because I already did all that work, I had a pretty good gauge in place, which was great because it saved me some time. So now I know what my gauge is in fingering weight and sock weight yarn. It's the same thing. So that's good. So I was able to calculate how many I needed to cast on specifically for my foot because I'm doing these practice ones for my own socks for my foot. So that was really good. So that kind of worked out in the end, but it did mean that I had to like frog everything and start over with the right amount of stitches, which was 56, not 32, like Jen was using with the DK way. So I did do that. I did some of it. Also, it meant I was really hoping to finish the ribbing part of this, but in the course, they're saying that the ribbing would be about 14 rows. And I have my little row counter, which I need to get one that locks. I hate this one. So I have my row counter and I was going and I was like, you know what? Like, also because of like the different yarn, I probably need to go longer. And so I'm not going to get a chance. Like I do have client work and I have a book due and all the stuff. So I don't really have a chance to finish the whole ribbing, but I thought we could finish it together. And then I could tell you about this little silly mishap of mine with my brain not functioning, but also show you like how I'm doing. So first of all, I went out to Michael's today and I got these needle stoppers because I didn't have any. I didn't really want to lose all this work, and I was using. So my husband, he vapes. He has those little vape machines. Terrible habit, I know, but like to each their own. And so I was they come with these plastic things that when you first buy them, they like hold it closed. And so I was using those and it kind of like speared it onto my needles to make sure that it doesn't go out of place. I know you can use erasers. We don't have erasers in the house. Maybe we will when my daughter is older and is in school. But we don't have them right now. So that's what I was using. So I went out this morning to Michael's, grabbed these. They were super cheap and they always have coupons. So I got like a couple of these to put on the needles. And this is where I'm at. So it's going to catch my face. So as you can see, can you guys look at this? Like I did that. I did all that ribbing. I learned how to knit and purl. It took me a while to get it, but look at this. So the beauty of this yarn, I find, and there are some mishaps, but because the yarn is speckled, and also it's like really nice in the way that the color is changing. It's going into like a light pink now that you'll see later at the end of this part of the vlog. But because it's like really speckled, it's hiding my lack of ability, which is chef's kiss, right? Also, the other thing I realized, like I dropped a stitch, and so I learned how to pick up a stitch, which is great. Was really proud of myself for that. I somehow like messed up the count a little bit on my knit and purl, and I was able to correct that. Like I'm sure you could see like if you look very closely, and if you are a professional knitter, like this to you probably does not look great. But for me, for the first time, like I've never knitted anything in my life. And to do this is great. So I'm pretty happy with it. So I figured for the rest of this, I'm going to put on a YouTube show or something. And I'm just going to finish the ribbing for the sock. So I think I need this is 9 rows. So I figured I need another 9. And that would make for a really good cuff, like a nice thick cuff. Like I could leave it at 14. But I do feel like I want like a nice thick cuff on these. And so I'm going to do another probably 9 rows. We'll take it to 18 total. And then we can take a look at my little progress. I'm really proud of myself though. Oh, and I'm getting better and faster. And I've kind of figured out like what I like, how to hold the yarn. For me, spoiler alert, it's the exact same way that I hold it when I crochet, just on the other hand. Yeah, I really like it. I think at the end of this cuff though, what I will end up doing is I'm going to weave in, with this tail because it always kind of gets in my way and then it frustrates me. So, I will weave in this tail when we take a look at the final cuff, but let's turn on the show and let's finish this up. This little cuff is almost ready to go. And I'm excited to see how the colors change because I think it's going back to the pink and then it's going back to the purple. And I can't quite follow it long enough to see where it goes from there, but we shall see. Yay, let's do it.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again.
So it is about like just past 1, and I got as far as 15 rounds. So I got an extra 6 rounds done. I was working on it, just to put like time into perspective. I was working on it for about like 30 minutes, I would say. So 6 rounds in 30 minutes. I am obviously slow, but you know, I'm learning and that's okay. So just to kind of show you where I'm at with it. So this is where we are with the cuff, with the ribbing. So I know I said I want to finish, focus, please. I know I said I want to finish the cuff and kind of chat with you guys, but I have work to do. I do have like other work to do. I have a manuscript to edit for a client and some other stuff. And I was hoping to take pictures of Brienne, the bunny that's going to be coming out for tester calls soon. But it's very muggy and foggy outside. So like, the lighting it's good if I was like right outside. That's like the perfect lighting. But because I'll be indoors, it kind of dissipates and it just doesn't light it enough. And I don't feel like setting up reflectors and all that stuff. And I don't like to use artificial light and when I take pictures of the products. And so I have a background in photography, by the way. That's why I have all this stuff, not because I for no other reason. But yeah, so I didn't get a chance to set that up. I also have a friend visiting from overseas, so I gotta go pick her up for some sushi. I'm very excited for that. And I'm also very excited to finally leave the house because I'm not contagious anymore and I'm feeling much better. I will say the variegation on this and the color change. I haven't gotten to like, so you can see in the ball of yarn that like super bright pink, that hot pink. I'm excited to see that pop in. I think it's coming up now because I think it technically like almost started with it, but not quite. So we haven't gotten through all the colors even yet. And I did realize when I'm doing this that I think I'm going to take this up, the cuff, I'm going to take it up to about 20 rows as opposed to the 18 I originally wanted, because I do want a cuff that I can kind of like a little bit fold over itself as well. And I really wanted to sit comfortably on my ankle and like hold in place. So I think I'm going to take it a bit longer than I thought I would. And I don't have time to do that for today. So in the meantime, I'm going to go finish up all my work and stuff. And then I'm actually going to do like kind of like a better intro when I'm not coughing and being feverish. Tomorrow I'll film that, and I'll film my kind of like outro and final thoughts as well for full transparency of when I'm filming things, in case you're wondering. I don't know why you would care. But just in case you want to know. Yeah, so I'll film my kind of final thoughts, what I thought, how I feel about knitting, how I feel about knitting socks, and kind of like, I don't have tips, but I can tell you what I liked and what I didn't like as a complete beginner, which I think would be helpful for anybody else who's also starting to knit. So with all of that, I guess I will see you for the wrap up on this, but I'm happy with this. This is much better than I thought I was going to do. And I did ribbing, which is great. So see you guys for the wrap up. Well, I have to say, I am kind of impressed with myself. I did pretty good, you guys. I do have thoughts. And so I thought in the outro we could do is kind of like share kind of my experience, my thoughts. I did want to show you too, because I did end up doing a little bit more after I signed off in the last vlog. So I got as far as this situation here for the actual sock. For some reason the camera is like refusing to oh, here we go. So I got this far, so I got the whole cuff done, and it is 2 inches. So 2 inches was kind of like everywhere I looked, it said that 2 inches is the standard pretty much like length that you want your why can't I think of the word? The cuff. Oh my gosh. The cuff to be. And so I kind of went as far as 2 inches, which I was right. It was 20 rows exactly. So somehow I got that correctly. Mishaps here and there, but that's okay. These are just going to be mine, and I'm always going to treasure these. This is going to be my first pair of socks. Now, here's my thoughts on this. 2.75 is definitely not going to work for me. I am, as it turns out, a loose knitter. And that could be from crocheting all the time and not wanting to put that much pressure on my hands. And so I think I instinctively loosen up how I hold the needle and how I actually do the stitches. So I am a loose knitter, and so you can kind of see that I'm getting like, it's not bad. It's pretty decent, like for a sock you're kind of going to wear around the house, but there is spacing. It's not like very tightly knit. So I did order 2.25 in the ChiaoGoo set. I'll have both because I figured I could probably use this for a slightly thicker yarn, and that's okay. They're not like, they are more expensive than some other needles you could find, but I think near me they're about $18 Canadian, which is like a decent amount for something I'm going to use all the time, because I can say with confidence that I am officially converted and I am a sock knitter. I don't know if I'll do other knitting. I might, but I love to knit. I really like it. It's relaxing. It's a totally different experience from crocheting, and I really, really love it. So the needles, though, for me, these are not going to work for this weight, for sock weight yarn. I am thinking will get a pair of the 2.25, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to, since the cuff is finished, I don't want to redo it. I'm going to go ahead and do the actual sock in the 2.25 and make the cuff a little bit looser, and that way I think it might actually work a little better for my foot. And I will do the same for the other sock so they match. So I'll start with a 2.75 for the cuff, do the cuff, and then switch over to the 2.25 because this is also going to be quite wide when I measure this on my foot anyways, and I want the actual sock itself to be a bit tighter. So that's going to work out for these. For my dad's sock that I'm making him for his present, I'm just going to use 2.25, and I will add the stitches that I need to add. I'll have to measure my gauge on that as well to figure that out, just so I have a note of my gauge in the sock yarn. So for the future and stuff. But yeah, the needles will have to go down a size. But I'm also thinking that I might pick up a pair of US size 6, which is a 4mm, of the ChiaoGoo circulars as well, because I might want to use worsted weight sock yarn or worsted weight yarn for kind of like wintry socks to kind of wear as almost like slippers around the house and not socks. So that's my thoughts on the needles. Though the yarn itself, it's really, really nice. It's way nicer than Kroy socks. It's definitely nice and soft. It will soften up more once I do like a wool wash on it. And the lady in the store, she was right. It is really a good yarn for beginners. I really love the colors on this. Like I'm really impressed with the changing of the colors. The striping of it is really, really nice. I really love the colors of this. I will say there were other yarns in the store that were much softer. And so, now that I think I'm going to do this all the time, I will probably splurge for my next pair after I do these two and get, like, when I have a bit more practice, I'll probably splurge and get like a nicer sock yarn and spend a bit more for my next pair. Now, I did say in the intro that I am going to show you some of the other fun stuff that I got, because I'm like really into sock knitting now. And so I got just a couple small things. I got a measuring tool. So this is just like a wooden measuring tool. And I'm going to be totally honest, I have no clue how to use it. If you do, please comment below, because I'm not really sure what I'm measuring here. Like, I don't know what these, I'm assuming this here is the needle. Like, the holes are obviously for the needles, because that makes sense. But then, is this just a ruler? Like, do I slip? Like, am I going to do, let's see. So now that I have this, do I just slip this over it? And measure the length, which is what I'm assuming. It's such a foolish question, right? But I'm assuming I'm going to be doing this, right? So I've got my sock, and then I'm going to be like putting this here, and as I'm knitting to see like how long I would need it to be. That's what I'm thinking. And that's fine. And that makes sense. And that's very self-explanatory. I'm making myself sound like so dense here. But that's self-explanatory. But then they have these things that says shoe sizes, US, which is kind of and EU and UK. We measure US shoe sizes here in Canada, so I'm going to use this side. And it has 2, 2.5, 3, like it just kind of has like numbers listed. But do I just follow these lines? Like if I need like a size 6.5, let's say, or 6 US shoe size in women's, which will be right here. is this the line? Like, do I need the length of the sock to be all the way here? I am so confused. Like, or is this from the bottom? Like, I'm thinking, like, if I put my foot on this, like, let me see right now, I have you on. My foot is a size 6, but from the bottom to here, it only goes to 4. So I don't know how to use this. I might have to look it up, but if you guys know, please let me know in the comments because I'm confused. Okay, so that's one thing I got though. I'm pretty excited for it. It's very cute. And then the other thing I got, and this is a funny story, but so I figured I'm going to need to block these socks. And I was looking everywhere online for sock blockers. And all of these 3D printed sock blockers came up because you could move this around. And yes, I have it taped because it's plastic, so it's very slippery. So you do have to tape it down for it not to move. So they all had, like, there was these wooden ones, and the wooden ones, like, you would get maybe, I guess, 6 of them because 3 pairs for small, medium, and large for adult size. And excuse my toddler kind of screeching in the background. But you would get 3 pairs for adult size. And then we have these ones, which were, like, you can move them around to whatever size you need. So I figured these might be a bit more like, specific for the blocking. Like, it would fit exactly the sock that I'm doing. And wherever I looked online, like, they were wildly expensive. It was like a set would be like $50 plus shipping, like something super wild. And maybe it's because of where I am, like, because I'm in Canada. I don't know. But I started looking into libraries that do 3D printing around us, and a bunch of them do. You do have to spend a whole bunch of time in the library kind of monitoring it. And I've never done any 3D printing before, but I did find, like, a free 3D printing pattern. It wasn't this one. And so I was going to do that. And I told my husband about it. And my husband said, oh my God, I love this guy. But at work, one of his friends is, like, obsessed with 3D printing because they do, like, gaming and they do all this stuff, like figurines and stuff. And so he is obsessed with 3D printing. And he's like, let me get this guy to make you some sock blockers. And I said, heck yes, let's do it. And so he tried the file. Like, I literally coerced my husband's coworkers to 3D print sock blockers for me, like a little psychopath. But he tried the file I sent him. It didn't work. It was like a corrupt or like a weird file. It wasn't good. And so this man, oh, bless his heart, went online and found another one. And look how cute it is. It's got, like, llamas and sheep cutouts, and you can, like, hang it obviously with these holes or upside down if you need to. But it's just super cute, and it did work. And he printed me, 3D printed 2 of them for me. So now I can block socks as much as my heart desires. I am so excited. So I'm all set. Like, I'm really, like, I've got stuff. I'm set. I am a sock knitter through and through. I got all this stuff, and I really enjoyed it. It was kind of tough, like I anticipated at the beginning, to get into it. But once you get into the groove of it, and once you figure out how you like to hold the needles, it's not so bad. It's quite simple, actually, like, when you do more. Now, I haven't done the actual, the stockinette, I think it's called. The stockinette or stocking stitch for the full actual body, and I haven't done the heel or the toe, so there's more of a learning curve here. But from what I've read, from what I saw on video, it seems simple enough to pick up. I think the instructions on Craftsy, while they are geared towards worsted weight yarn, are very, very helpful for this. And I did find, so I'm going to link this below too, but the Crazy Sock Lady has a circular needle sock instruction video that has a lot of views, and it also is a fantastic explanation. And she does use 2.25 millimeter ChiaoGoo circular needles and sock weight yarn. So I think I made the right decision getting the smaller one and continuing with that. But that's another, I'm going to link her whole channel because there's a bunch, but she does have instructions on her, and like a video instruction as well. And it's really, really great too. So lots of options here. I am really excited. I can't wait. I'm really super impressed with myself for this. Like, I know it doesn't seem like a lot to somebody who probably like knits constantly. But for me, this is like a huge accomplishment. Like it's an actual like stock starting to form, and I never thought I would get this far. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you want to see more vlogs like this of me trying stuff out. I do have another idea for a vlog to do. I'm going to be filming it kind of over the period of a few weeks. So it's another gift for my daughter for her birthday. And I'm going to spoil it, but it's going to be the viral mushroom guy, the toddler-sized mushroom guy. So I have all my supplies. I might have to go out and get some more yarn for it, but I'm ready for that. And so I'm going to start filming myself as I make it and giving you my thoughts on the pattern and kind of what I'm feeling about it. So that's going to be a video in the making. I'll see if I can get it done in a full week. I don't know. It is like a big project, so it might take me longer. But by the way, the shawl is ready. We'll talk about that later in projects completed video. But yeah, I'll have another video coming up. I might be talking to you next week about like what I keep in my little baskets, I guess you could call it that. So I have a basket I carry around the house that has everything in it. So we might do like a what's in my crocheting and now knitting basket video next week. I'll think about it. If you have anything else you want to see from me, then make sure you tell me in the comments so I can check that and make the videos you guys want to see. But for anybody that's subscribed, thank you so much. And if you haven't, I hope you do. I really love it here. And I'll see you guys for next week for another video. Bye. Happy crocheting.